Hey, it's Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Friday, June 30th. So welcome to the last day of the month, the last time that we get to kind of really learn the lesson that June was meant to teach us. If you need to go back, listen to the June energy forecast, the intro at least. That should tell you how aligned you are with the energies, what it is that we were supposed to learn, what it is that we were supposed to experience, and what it is that we're currently wrapping up. Speaking of wrapping things up, Neptune going retrograde here today. If you haven't listened to that astro forecast, I'm going to recommend that you do so. For those of you that have downloaded your Cancer Season e-guide, you're going to want to pop that out and really capture some of the thoughts, some of the ideas, some of the images, some of the feelings that you are currently experiencing while we make that shift. We do have the moon moving out of the Scorpio energy, moving into Sagittarius energy. That, of course, always kind of brings us out of the dark, out of the funk, out of the intense emotional transformation that the moon in Scorpio always offers us. And the moon in Sag is the light at the end of the tunnel, brings us back to a bigger perspective, a bigger understanding of why we had to go through what it is that we're going through. We build our optimism, our confidence back. We feel spiritually renewed in a way. And we're definitely putting the puzzle pieces together on what our dream, our vision, our ultimate goal actually is. Now, there are 11 different aspects here today. 9 of them are going to involve the moon. So, the moon in Scorpio energy still squares with Mars. Now, Mars rules over Scorpio energy, so this is going to be a little bit intense. Of course, Mars in the heart and soul of the zodiac being in Leo energy, really getting us in alignment with what it is that brings happiness and joy, realness to our heart space, where passions, ideas, desires are concerned. We are piecing things together, kind of getting in alignment in order for us to take action on those things, which we will definitely be doing when Mars moves into Virgo energy, but that is July's astro forecast. Right now, we're still trying to get heart aligned. The moon entering into the boxing ring with Mars is likely going to bring up some agitation, some frustration, where it is that we feel blocked and challenged, where it is that we feel held back, where it is that we are holding on to the old, where it is that we're blocking out the new. And of course, we have this restless energy where we want to make major moves in our life and take some action in order to make progress, but our inner realm isn't in alignment to do so. And that's why we are being kind of thrown where it is that the blockages, the challenges are preventing us from clearing out the space of the old, of the, let's say, structures that we're trying to deconstruct at this point in time in order for us to align with a new path, a new vision, a new dream in moving forward. Mercury, ruler of the mental plane, ruler of information, communication, and how it is that we express ourselves in this Cancer energy, definitely giving us a deeper emotional and intuitive lens to kind of use while we bring information in and we drop it into the heart space. We really kind of mull over how it is that we're feeling about it. Blending our intellect with our intuition is the greatest gift that Mercury in Cancer is offering us at this time. Anyways, Mercury is going to trine, beautiful energy, with Saturn, the Lord of Karma, who is retrograde in Pisces energy. We get this trine because it's a water on water action, a lot of water in the cosmos right now, which is very healing, very transformative, very cleansing. Mercury and Saturn. Well, first of all, Saturn brings us down a couple of pegs. He gives us a reality check. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad thing, but we are logically and practically seeing where it is that we have to slow the roll. We have to slow the pace a little bit and take a little bit more of a simplistic approach to the step-by-step process, the strategy, the plan that we have to put together in order to actually move forward. We are rebuilding the foundations in our lives, starting with our belief system. We have to really believe something to be true before we're going to see it manifest in the physical realm. And so there is a little bit of a, let's call it narrow focus on the procedure that we need to put in play. And intuitively speaking, we are being called to kind of really examine certain parts of our belief system that are essentially blocking us and holding us back. We are recognizing where we're feeling the pressure, the intensity, the impulse to just move forward and rush things. And of course, Saturn kicks in and says, you know what? we're going to make a mess of things if we rush. We really got to slow it down here. We have to trust our gut. We really have to allow our intuition to guide us through this plan, through this strategy on how we're going to deconstruct the old and rebuild something better in its place. The moon is going to interact with Chiron, the wounded healer, and this is a positive interaction. So this does mean that we're having an epiphany, an aha moment. We're seeing where it is that, yes, we are growing. Yes, we are healing. Yes, we are making extra efforts to improve and to progress in our lives. We are understanding the wounds. And again, the moon being in Scorpio over the last couple of days should have illuminated some shadow aspects, some wounds, some pain, some trauma that is still very much affecting our present and very much impacting the decisions that we're making and moving forward. And having the realization that these wounds are still alive and well is the first step in being able to heal them. So we are making some sort of progress. The moon is then going to trine with Neptune, who is in its place of powers in Pisces energy. This is the last aspect that Neptune is going to make while being direct. And so we get some water on water action here. This is strengthening our intuition, really kind of bumping up our psychic abilities to the next level. Our perception may be a little bit foggy, but at the same time, there's an immense sense of knowing. We don't know why we know that everything's going to be okay. We don't know why we're trusting the process. We don't know why we know that things are about to change in our favor, but it feels right. And that's what we're really leaning into right now, is trusting our intuition over our egoic intellect that is just looking at our physical circumstances and saying, I don't know why you feel so confident. Nothing's changing. I don't know why you're so hopeful, because the circumstances aren't really indicating that things are going to change. We're trusting ourselves. We're trusting our soul. We're trusting our spirit. The moon in Scorpio is going to sextile beautiful energy with Pluto, its ruler. Pluto is retrograde in Capricorn energy. This is a beautiful vibe for us to make a major emotional transformation. We are nearing the very ending degrees of the Scorpio energy before moving into Sag energy. And this particular energy is the last that we are going to feel with the moon in Scorpio. So there's a hurrah that happens, if you will, a very profound hurrah. We're recognizing where it is that we have to break free from trying to control things. We are surrendering to the topics and themes that we're really realizing are kind of sucking the life force energy out of us. There is a major epiphany that, of course, Pluto likes to kind of hit that first domino in our psyche. There's a realization of the conditioning, of the programming that we need to break down, that we need to unlearn in order for us to shift our emotions, shift our perception into this new belief system. And of course, shedding the layers of the old indoctrinated self is definitely a hard process to do. But every single time that we question why it is we think a certain way or why it is that we feel a certain way, we open up the forum to really kind of piece together, sort through, reprocess where we learned that and whether or not we're still in alignment with that. And of course, the minute that we shift our energy, that means that we have essentially unearthed and uncovered a program that is no longer serving us. And therefore, we can shift our emotions away from that particular belief and set ourselves up to actually move forward. 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time is when the moon shifts into Sag energy. We're definitely going to feel a little bit brighter, a little bit more energetic, a little bit more optimistic. But 11:22 a.m. is when Neptune goes retrograde. So again, I'm going to welcome you to go listen to that forecast. You can expect there to be a lot of confusion. You can expect for there to be like a curtain that comes over our intellect. Things are still very foggy. We can kind of understand that our other senses need to be heightened in order for us to stop looking outside of ourselves for validation and for the path moving forward. This is going to kind of make us feel like we're cut off from our intuition, from the higher realms of intelligence, in order for us to reestablish a new strength within us, a new connection to our higher selves within us. It's not going to feel very good for especially the first week or two. But Neptune is a very, very far away planet. So we just kind of feel this shift as a subtle shift. It's not a jolt like the interpersonal planets are when they go retrograde, but we're basically just kind of gearing down. We're moving inward. We need to kind of go on this personal path of discovery at this particular chapter. We've had too many things kind of change. Now we have to move inward and build ourselves back up, essentially. And so it could feel very stunted, very foggy, very confusing, but we need to sit in that confusion in order for clarity to come to us in a different way. So then the moon in Sag is going to interact with the true node, the north node here in Taurus energy. And just keep in mind that the north node is the path that we need to get on. That's our mission. That's our purpose. That is our soul's potential. But right now we're kind of questioning what that is, because again, there's a new added wild card element of confusion being thrown at us here. And so what we're kind of getting is an ability to kind of stand still to see where it is that, yes, we're being challenged to move forward, but the plan, the strategy isn't quite formulated yet. We are seeing the ability to grow and improve, but we're not quite comfortable to make those steps or make those moves as of yet. The moon is then going to interact with Mercury. This is our heart and our head, kind of interacting on, a good wavelength. Are they in true alignment? No, but we are making extra efforts to see how close they are coming together. And keep in mind that the moon in Sag wants to pique our curiosity, wants to build us up for a new adventure, for us to see the greater, grander picture. The mercurial energy in Cancer, first of all, is blending our intellect with our intuition in order for us to kind of see things from a different set of eyes and really kind of go through the decision-making process, weighing the pros and cons, both from our ego intellect and our emotion and intuitional state. But the mercurial in Cancer energy at this particular point in time is helping us to simplify. Now, this is a positive interaction, so we're not going to get some of the shadow element experiences, but just keep in mind that we're really focusing on where it is, especially being in Cancer season, Mercury being in Cancer, where it is that we have to kind of go back to the basics, where we have to simplify things, get back to just our basic wants, needs, and desires, get back to really focusing in on creating a foundation of routine, of relationship dynamics that are supporting us and encouraging us. And the moon being in Sag energy is just kind of like the hype girl, really giving us an optimistic, more confident approach on how it is that we're going to have these conversations, how we're wrapping our head around certain concepts and ideas, and really kind of strategizing the smaller little bits of details and how that is going to eventually equal to the greater, grander picture that we're looking to manifest. The moon in Sagittarius is going to make a positive interaction with the sun in Cancer. So the moon, typically speaking, attaches us to the past. The sun, typically speaking, illuminates our future. The sun in Cancer is trying to show us what we have to build in order to take care of ourselves and nurture ourselves and really create a stronger foundation in our emotional realms and trusting our intuition and getting things kind of organized, and where we have to implement boundaries in order to kind of protect our emotions and our physical realm from being shook up, from being swayed by the outside world and exterior circumstances. The moon in Sag, being kind of attached to the past, is giving us a greater, grander vision, seeing the interconnectedness, the internal workings, if you will, of all the details, all the experiences, good, bad, and otherwise, that have landed us here in this moment. We get to kind of flip the script in a more positive tone, if you will. And what we're left with is the overlap, standing here in the present moment, seeing what it is that we kind of have to make peace with in our past, what we have to kind of rewrite as far as the narrative goes, and what that means for us as far as building a little bit more of a stable, sturdy foundation of belief that we can continue to further build upon as we move forward, and recognize what it is that we have to do to really nurture and nourish our soul, our spirit, our inner realm. The moon is going to interact with Chiron in such a way that I'm not going to say it's a bad energy. It's not necessarily a good energy. Let's just call it a neutral energy, where some aha moments and discoveries can come forth. And essentially speaking, Chiron is the wounded healer, addresses the wounds that we're here to heal, gives us the ability, the wisdom, the knowledge, the resources within ourselves to heal and address the wounds, the pain, the trauma that we're here to kind of focus on and grow through. The moon in Sag giving us that fire energy, that hope, that optimism, that big picture on why it is that some of the pain and trauma experiences that we've had were essential in order for us to gain the wisdom and the knowledge that we currently have, especially the belief within ourselves. The last thing that we have going on here today is the moon in Sag squaring off, getting into the boxing ring with Saturn, the Lord of Karma, who of course is retrograde in Pisces energy. This is a conflict, and the majority of this conflict is that the overwhelming confidence, the big picture optimism that the moon in Sag has us kind of sitting in is unrealistic. So Saturn comes in, he gives us a little bit of a reality check. He knocks us down a couple of pegs in order for us to be dreaming a dream, setting the goal, setting the vision that is, good, grand, and a little bit bigger than what it is that we're currently living in our circumstances, but not so big that it's unachievable or unattainable. We have a tendency with Sag energy, because Jupiter rules over Sag energy, to go balls to the walls with the biggest dream ever. We bite off more than we can chew. We over exaggerate our ability to actually achieve said dream, vision, and goal. And we set ourselves up for disappointment and disaster because we never can really align with the vision that we conjure up for ourselves. So Saturn comes in. He blocks us a little bit from dreaming as big of a dream as we would naturally do without any restriction kind of being limited on us, in order for us to be realistic, to operate from a place of reality. And again, it's hard to do. Saturn's in Pisces energy, so reality isn't the strongest point here. We live in a fantasy. We're living in illusion. And so we're really kind of, I'm not going to say being beat down by Saturn, but he does have a tendency to kind of knock the wind out of our sails so that we take a more realistic approach to our visions, to our dreams, so that we can actually build a realistic bridge to get us from where it is that we're at to where it is that we desire to be.